Hey, I'm David, and this is a video showing off and showing how to use my custom Maya tool using Mash nodes to export audio data for game design stuff. Got this little nice button here on my shelf here I click. Push phase 1, it's the only phase currently. Boom. Right then and there. You see, we don't need this thing, we can close that. We can see we got a little Mash network set up. It's got some nodes right here, Python audio, distribute. Don't need to worry about those. Over here in the hierarchy, that kind of shows the cube it made and the network that it's based off of. It's also adjusted our timeline for correct frame rate, looping, and all that sort of stuff. We don't want it looping. We don't want it to be a weird timeline. If we're going to have a consistent frame rate for the game, we need to have a consistent frame rate for the output of the music. Right now, there is no music in this thing, so we're going to want to do that. So let's minimize this. And I'm going to pull over a song from over here, some video game music. That way YouTube doesn't nuke me. Let's drop that right here in the timeline. Boom. We're going to want to go to our Mash audio node. And we're going to do a similar thing. Desktop. Boom. Then from there, we're going to need to change that to the sound length. That way it's the full song and not like the first 100 frames of it. And now the final thing, and then we're all set to have it play the thing. This Mash Python node has like default info in it, and we got to put it on our own. So here's like chunk 2 of code. You just copy and paste this right in there. Boom. It doesn't like that thing, so I'm just going to delete that and just boom. You should see that it's now in a straight line. That other one was displacing them by a certain amount for each thing just to kind of teach you stuff. But we don't need to learn because we're doing. So let's get out of this thing so it doesn't freak out on us. And now we play a song. So you see here, it breaks up everything into its individual frequencies just like a normal audio visualizer. You don't want to have anything too complicated or wild. Otherwise, it'll be kind of useless for interpreting within Unity. Or I guess if you were to change the code from C# to C++, you could use it in Unreal as well. I'm going to jump through this because you need to get the whole song to play through. It's best to pick a shorter song for time's sake, as well as for any data loss, because we don't want it to lose any data. So the shorter the song, the better the song. Alright, and we're at the end. Hopefully my computer doesn't die. Okay, so now it's basically collecting all of the data from the every single frame within it. About 1800, not 1800, 18,000. Can't read. And really, you can just walk off. You can do whatever. Just look at the bottom there. When it stops saying press the escape key to stop playback, that's when it's done. Oh, it's finally done. There we go. All right, cool. So now if we open up this thing, look at all that beautiful numbers. Oh. All right, so here's the hard part. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's get this out of here. I'm gonna make a new file. Text document. Boom. We're gonna call it just our song name. It's command and control. Boom. Open that shit up. Now, not that. Now we just gotta go basically up to the top. Just ignore all that stuff. It's not important for you. Just need the numbers. Boom. Just highlight all of it. Slam. Control C. Control V. Boom. Oh, look at that. We got about 18,178. And how long is it? Okay, so we only lost about 200 frames. That's pretty good for that long song. Okay, so we don't need this Maya scene anymore. That's all that end of the tool is. So I'm going to close that. We don't need to save anything. So now that we have this, make sure to save it. Otherwise, you'll have to do that all over again. Now, we need to open Unity. And this game here I have is This game here I have is just kind of like a bullet hell sort of game. You know, lots of obstacles, environment shit that get in your way. You know, they're right there. It's the player controller in the middle. It's not really us. I turned off a lot of the collision just because I was too busy focused on making things. So here we have the main. This is the main thing that does everything. So we're going to need to do two things first. Let's minimize this. Let's get that out of here. So first, we're going to need to go... I have this organized, so I have like songs here. Boom. Songs getting loaded into this thing. It copies it and all that. Cool. Now that that's in, that's there. Then we got to add our data in. So that way we have it available. And so here is what I call a composer. It basically reads everything and tells everyone what to do. So I'll give you kind of a quick view of how it goes down. Let's go up to the top. So up here it holds a bunch of game, game assets to apply and all that sort of stuff. This is mostly for experimenting right now. And then, it's gathering stuff. It tries to set a constant frame rate of 60, and I use the enumerator loop, which is just based on like real time and all that. To do that, but right at the start, it takes our data, which is assigned in this text array, which is right here. You can see asset content, which is made up from asset text, which is up here. So it takes that, puts down here, and converts it into an array. The array is broken up into individual lines. So if we look at this thing, each one of these is one of those. And so it remembers that. And it also keeps in mind how many frames we actually have. And then from there, it starts. In every single frame, I have the time set up to be every single frame. It will increase the index. It will read a line from this. So it takes that array and it breaks the individual line into its chunks, broken up by the white space. And it turns those into floats because they're strings currently. And then after it's done that, that's an old one. Read the lines is one to read the whole thing. I realized it was nuking my performance because it read the entire document every single frame. So I have this one here that does it a single line every frame. And so from there, what it will do is now that it has that list of it creates a new array of the individual numbers. And every single part of that, if you remember in the Maya scene, there were those like 10 nodes that were stretching and all that. Those all get broken down here. And I've got a few of these things commented out so you can just kind of see how it works as default. So if we go to the Unity scene, all right, so we're going to go our composer. We're going to lock this thing so it doesn't run away. We're going to add our song to the audio source. Boom, it's in there. Now we're going to go to our data. Going to drop it in there, boom. Now we're good to go. See, look. And within here, we can adjust values and all that stuff. If we don't like how it's turned out, we can increase scalars and all that stuff. This is mostly to bug test. But here, I guess I'll show you the main thing. So I've got a few different ones. I'll add let's get this one going. Just to give a little more view to the whole scene. Let's take that thing. Let's crank that scalar. Boom. And see, sort of, this is kind of the beginning of it all. I've got a bunch of different ones. There's ones where it'll carry the signal around the screen. There's ones where it will create new instances of other objects, so on and so forth. I guess I can just unleash them all and just let you see the horror that it is. Save that. Boom. just see over here is a ton of just instanced objects created, and I plan to make these more varied so they're not so obvious, or not really obvious, but stuck in the same spot, because otherwise it would just be a very boring game when you could just chill right here and be like, nah, I'm safe, like worry about nothing, you know. Yeah, but this is the tool in a simple use, so on and so forth. And of course, when it gets kind of all of that all at once, it can be a bit hard to see it following timing and all that. But yeah, that is my Maya tool, Unity tool, all set up with just based on the Mesh networks.